determine whether or not we save David. Like before, changing to your power form in order to take out these big monstrosity obese blobs here, since they aren't too much trouble when you can get them stuck and keep spamming the move over and over again. That's a lot of help. Whenever you first play the game though, it's going to take you a lot of practice to get down that move, but I highly suggest just turning on the game and start practicing the spin kick so you can get it down and be able to complete it in only a very short amount of time so that you can perform it at very key moments. These dog-like enemies are a pain because they take a good amount of hits to kill, and you have to usually take on more than one at a time. Keep your distance from them, or get in very closely and just keep spamming them anytime they immediately stand up, so that they're unable to actually attack you. Even though the enemies do a lot of damage to you, I really think since of the added moves and all, this is actually the easiest Splatterhouse game, and if it wasn't for the time limit, there'd be no question about that. You just gotta love that decapitation effect when I smash these certain enemies with my knife. Another interesting fact about Splatterhouse 3 that is actually the first game that Sega gave its own rating to. Sega had its own ratings board to rate their games. This is of course before the ESRB started in North America, and this game actually received an MA13 rating because of all the gore and violence in the game. It's also interesting to note that this was the only of the 3 main Splatterhouse games that didn't get a release in Europe. Okay, as we enter our next room, this is where those enemies first appear, the cloaked demon enemies. Now these enemies are a real pain, and I'm gonna have to get hit in order to lose my knife, and you can see just how much damage they did to me right there, almost my entire health bar in one hit. The best way to take these guys out is to of course avoid their blow at all costs, but when they're not attacking you, getting as close as fast as possible, and then start slamming them with your grapple move. Until they come out of the cloak, you really won't be able to hit them for the most part, because they'll just transport away from you, and you won't be able to hurt them. If you can get one of these guys stuck against the wall, just keep destroying them as much as possible, because these guys are easily the most dangerous enemy to contend with. As we near our next boss battle, we have another room with these dog enemies. Once again, they're really not too much trouble, especially if you can use your spin kick against them. They actually aren't too bad, other than they have a lot of health to deal with. And since we're right near the boss battle, we're not really going to use our special move, but if you wanted to, you'll end up getting 2 orbs from them. Now here's our next boss battle, and it starts off in just this little bubble, but then after you fight it for a few seconds in the bubble form, it'll break out and turn into this weird alien-like monster. Try not to get too close to it and do any of your grapple moves to it for the most part, because at any time it can do an electrical charge to its body to knock you away. As long as you stay a decent distance and just use your special moves, you shouldn't have too much trouble with this boss. As we enter our next bonus stage, or actually our last bonus stage of the game, you can see that the enemies have changed from the big obese blobs to the dog enemies. Regardless of the change of enemy though, our strategy remains the same. Transform as soon as you can, and just start spamming the special move and pick up the extra lives as you go. When you defeat the final enemies, we go on to the 5th stage of the game. Stage 5 is the longest stage of the game, and it's also the last stage of the game. And even though we still have a time limit in the upper left corner, since we've already saved both Jennifer and David, we can now just kind of relax a little bit and we don't have to rush through the stage as quickly as we did the previous levels. However, I still will be going through the quickest path, but there's a lot of different paths to choose in this level, and it may take you a few tries to pick the right one. Also, like I mentioned earlier in the video, if you travel to the north farthest part of this stage, you actually go outside, and it's actually the same area that the bonus stages that I've been doing takes place at. Thankfully though, there is no new enemies in this stage, but we do have to battle the cloak enemies again, and we also have to do battle with the boss from the first level again, in the southern part of this stage. In the next room is another set of the cloak monsters. Stay away from them at first and let them try to do a swipe into thin air. Then quickly go in close and start doing the grab moves to them. Once again, it's hard to actually hit them with physical attacks until they actually break the robe off of them. If you can, once again, try to get them both stuck in the same area against the wall so that you can double team them together. I also have to admit, just because of everything that's a little bit different about this game, it's pretty much my least favorite of the main series of Splatterhouse games. A lot of that probably had to do with the time limit and the fact that I really had to rush through everything, but I just think overall the atmosphere and the graphics and all weren't as memorable as the original 2 Splatterhouse games. As we make our way down here, we have a rematch again with the